Welcome everybody to Fandom Nights, where we break down pop culture one fandom at a time. I'm Chris.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Sherman.
And today we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2, Chepisode 18, or 17 if you're watching it on Netflix for some reason, right?
Yeah, because they're...
Anyways, The Earth King. It was released on November 17th, 2006. I don't know why they mixed those, because they mixed those episodes, and then the next episode after this one, they mixed two of them. Just release them separate. I know they're part of like a dual
because
thing,
yeah, when they were originally aired, they were aired
in
as
the middle of the episode.
It
Shows
or an hour-long special.
Anyways, Dustin, take us through the story.
Alrighty, so it starts with Aang telling Appa how much he missed him again.
I know.
Which just
so
immediately warms up the heartstrings.
I know, you're like, oh, okay. Then they had to show it again. Yeah,
right.
That was good.
And Sokka decides that the group needs to tell the Earth King about the solar eclipse, because that was the whole reason they were there to begin with.
Right.
So they fly on Appa, and Toph really wants to get a new saddle at this point, because she's just scared to death.
It looks
hanging
terrifying.
Yeah,
I would be scared even.
Well, imagine you're
it.
blind, you can't see.
And you're just holding on for dear
Yeah, fur that does fall off.
Right.
He does shed, so what if it just sheds out?
Oh,
crazy.
I mean, Aang can go save the day, but
think about that.
It's just scary.
She's so used to being grounded.
Oh no, don't worry about it, because if when she falls, she'll be able to sense the ground below her, right?
Yeah, she can sense rocks.
Since she's
coming
not
at her,
touching
so
it,
should be able to sense the earth. Yeah.
That's crap. That's bull crap.
Well. Next episode, there's something cool that happens, but yeah. Keep going.
So they fly towards the palace of the Earth King, and his troops start firing these rock balls at him. I don't know why I call them rock balls.
Boulders.
Yeah, I was like asteroids, but
asteroids coming from.
But they were like shaped like a.
We don't get the meteor until next season.
Yeah.
So this scene when they're flying up and there's all these earthbenders earthbending. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a hard episode.
Count this one.
Holy crap, this episode was hard.
You had over 100 probably. For
it
Earth.
was well over 100. It was a lot of Earth, and I did my best. It took me like, I don't know, an hour and a half to watch this episode, and that was only like the first 7 minutes of it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it didn't take me that long for that, but the first 7 minutes is jam packed. I don't know. I paused it at one point, and I'm like, we're only 7 minutes in, and I had so many marked down. But anyways,
that's funny.
Yeah, there was 2 people lifting and then 2 people pushing, so it was like 4 for every single asteroid that's flying. Yeah.
So he kind of has 4 different bends then for each rock.
For each one, and I counted each because there's literally no way that it could there's that one scene.
There's no other catapults or anything
right
like that.
In that one scene where Appa's flying above the clouds and you see all those fireballs come up. It's been shown where firebenders have done it and people have lit them, so you can't really count them.
Right.
But in this one,
there's no catapult,
there's no
launch
possible way
pad.
that anything else other than earthbending launched these things. So I felt like I should count them. But yeah, there was a lot.
Okay. So I think is really cool is that when one of them was coming up, like the very big one that was more flat, that they shot at him, Aang was just sitting there nonchalant and just.
Yeah. Oh, he does this.
He does this motion and just breaks it. I'm just like
the back of his hand.
Yeah, I'm just like a bee slap, just.
And then flies past them.
This whole intro was just so cool. You just see how powerful these benders are. Sokka the whole time. I didn't see what he's doing.
Especially
Appa.
Especially Aang too, because he just got Appa back, and he's like, nothing is separating us again.
I will go through anything. Right.
I will destroy anyone.
And I love when Toph is fighting, and she gets into her fighting mode. She just goes like this. She's just constantly her hands are up, and just her hands like this.
I was finally happy when she was
like this. I'm like, oh, it's about to go down.
I was finally happy about that when things are flying towards her and she's doing the defensive. I was like, all right, you're putting things in front of you,
right?
Not just nope, pop, pop, pop.
Yep, exactly.
Catch things as they're flying through the air. I'm like, you. All right, you guys actually thought about this one this time.
And she did. It was cool too because she's like one thing and another thing. It was just a constant wall in front of her,
which was super cool.
Yeah, I put in that once they got to the ground, the Earthbenders closed on them, and then the team was just working in formation.
Yeah.
Aang and Toph up front were defending the blast.
And Aang had such a cool look on him. He had his head down and he was shadowing his eyes. I'm like, oh man, sorry, Katara.
No, and then Katara was just water whipping people with ease.
Yeah.
When she lands and's got the water around her arms, I was like, oh, you guys are screwed.
I know. It was so cool. Yeah, they just assaulted the palace and just made it in with three of them essentially. I mean, Appa was helping, and
it's
Sokka
fights like
tried to
these. I
help,
feel
but-
bad for Sokka.
I know.
Can't really do nothing.
He can't
I know.
do it. He
It's
tried
like,
to
all
bust
right,
down that
well, we
door.
got a bunch of Earthbenders, and
Yep.
He
cool.
can dodge things.
Yep,
Yeah, that's about it.
It's about as close to an airbender as you'll ever be. Dodging and evading.
Yep.
But at the same time, like when you're fighting people who could literally turn the ground you're walking on to sand and like sink you into it, just be like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna try to keep running.
Yeah.
Toph dominoes some soldiers on top of each other in a domino pattern, and then makes the handicap ramp all the way down.
Dude, when like that part when she does that motion, like, and then like, I was like, ah!
I know. It just shows her power. It's just crazy.
So then Toph and Aang create an elevator, and Sokka is telling all the passing soldiers that are falling, "We're actually on your side. Like, I'm sorry.
We're not the bad guys."
Well, even Katara, when she water whips some people, she says, "I'm sorry." What do you do? Okay. I mean, she doesn't want to hurt them, but she has to get by them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So this fight, the thing that confused me was like, if there's no war in Ba Sing Se, right? And the Dai Li run the cultural, like, there are so many soldiers in this palace. Like, they're literally just coming out in waves. Just like, where are these guys hiding?
Well, are these all Dai Li?
No, these are all Earth Kingdom, like, just soldiers.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, where they've been, like, they've just been chilling at the palace doing nothing. Like, you're literally sitting on a giant army in the palace alone.
I think the Dai Li is more just like the personal protectors of the king, I guess, say.
Right.
And again, more of the, running everything secretly too. But like, I think the Council of Five that we find out of the 5 generals or whatever, I think they actually run the military of Ba Sing Se.
That council, when like you see them and like that the general from like the Outer Wall is on that council, I'm like, dude should not be sitting in. He should not be in this position.
The Council of Five, I took it to be a council of generals from all around the Earth Kingdom. So they've actually been in the war, like fighting the war. But I feel like the Council of Five has never had contact with the king until Aang made that connection, and woke the Earth King up to all this stuff.
But still, like, why? I was more curious why that one freaking general was on the council. I was like, he should not be there.
Which general?
The guy who like from the episode of The Drill, who's on the outside.
Oh, he was there? Okay.
He was on the council. I'm like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
I think that's in the next episode.
I think so, yeah.
So when Sokka is trying to find like the door to the Earth King or whatever, he's opening all these random doors. He opens a girl with the girl that's like shrieking or whatever. Just kind of tied into Aang in the first episode when he was on the Fire Nation ship and he was trying to find his staff.
Oh yeah.
And he accidentally woke up Iroh, or he's like, sorry. Then it cuts to Iroh and Zuko, and Iroh is very proud of Zuko's decision to let the bison go. But Zuko doesn't feel well, and then he passes out.
Yeah, this was kind of a weird episode with the dream sequences and the.
I thought it was a great episode.
It was good,
Zuko, yeah.
But it was just interesting that he like this is the turning point in his life,
Right.
And I wonder if it has something to do with like the spirits or that spirituality is more of a big thing in this universe, but because he's completely changing his personality, so it physically affects his body. I don't know.
Yeah. Then it cuts back to Sokka, and he sees a magnificent, huge door, and declares that the king has to be behind there. And so then he goes for this like awesome karate kick move, and then just tink, and then like falls down, like all stiff like. It was just funny. He epically fails, and then Aang like airbends the door down. It's like no problem.
Yeah, again, just shows how powerful Aang is. Like,
Right.
with air, he broke down these huge doors. Okay.
So then they kind of confront the king and stuff like that, and basically the king like convinces them to like drop their weapons or whatever, so they all drop their weapons.
If you were really on my side, you would drop your weapons.
Right. And then the Dai Li get them in the cuffs or whatever, and then Aang is like pleading with the king or whatever, and he like frees himself.
So I'm the Airbender, see? And he shows that he can take his hands up, and then he puts himself back in.
Earth bends back. It's like, that's kind of funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Aang and the gang, they try to convince the Earth King about the war, and the Dai Li and like Long Fang is like, these guys are like a crazy conspiracy cultist, like trying to overthrow and to take you over.
So, funny thing about continuity for that. So, in Legend of Korra, the Earth Queen was murdered by an anarchy group.
Whoa.
Do you think the White Lotus exists, or the Red Lotus exists right now? If the White Lotus has always existed,
Possibly.
Probably the Red Lotus.
Or do you think that because of the events of like this whole thing, the Red Lotus becomes a thing?
Yeah, because they're relatively young, the Red Lotus. Like, they were only born within the last 70 years. You know? So, between the shows.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably something that's probably happened after Avatar Aang stuff. Well, who knows?
Adult Aang, probably.
Yeah. You think it's something that sparked because of something Adult Aang did then?
It would have to, because Sokka, wasn't he part of the people that built Zakir's prison?
Yeah, because remember Unalaq was part of the Red Lotus.
Yeah!
Who
Huh?
Who are we talking about? You keep going.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Unalaq is Korra's uncle.
Oh, okay.
And he's also the like tribe leader of the Northern Water Tribe. But yeah, so maybe they did know. Maybe, I don't know. It had to have been something Avatar Aang did.
But I just think it's funny that like
Cohen.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think it's funny that like Long Fang is like they're part of an anarchy cell, and he's talking to like the royal member of the Earth King or Earth Kingdom.
The next
ruler
killed,
gets offed by an anarchy cell.
Yeah, weird. Cuts to Zuko very briefly, and Iroh basically tells him that he has an intense fever and needs to like just rest it out, sleep it out, sweat it out.
Said sweat it out. Yeah, so if you have a fever, cover yourself with blankets and just sweat it out. Okay, it's gonna.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Not in real life. I'm just supposed to cool yourself down.
Oh, I never did.
I don't know. Oh, really? Okay, I don't get sick that often, I guess.
I mean, you want to do it's tough because you want to do both.
You want to cool your face, probably.
Yeah, so you want to do like a wet towel on your forehead, but like still cover like with
I think
blankets.
You want your body to be warm, but your head should be more cool.
Okay.
So then the Earth King rides the train for the first time.
Yeah.
Never left the palace, and they head to Lake Laogai.
Well, he's never been to that's later on. But yeah.
So my question is Lake Laogai inside the walls?
It must be.
It has to be.
They never go outside the city.
Because then after they visit Lake Laogai, they go to the outer wall and visit the drill.
Yeah.
And he's never been to the outer wall.
Right.
So that makes me think Lake Laogai is somewhere within.
Well, it's huge. They show that scene where
it goes from
where they're flying on Appa, and Boston City is just gigantic. So it's the size of Alaska or whatever. We came to the conclusion.
Right.
But
I mean, yeah, you could easily find like a random lake that like nobody's ever.
I just always figured it was outside of La Sensei, but I guess thinking about it, it's got to be inside.
Yeah, considering there's no like wall in the background, which is tough.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite odd. So after that, it cuts back to Zuko, and he's dreaming about becoming the Fire Lord, and then the Dragon of the West and the East are there. I think it's them.
Yeah, it was just a blue and red dragon, but it might be them. Right.
We learned that those are like the only two dragons left in the third season. And
it's Iroh and
Azula who are imitating them.
Right.
Do you know those dragons actually have names?
Yeah, I just don't know them off the top of my head. So Zuko dreams of losing his mother, and then Azula is basically like taunting him and haunting him the whole time about losing his mother. You have anything on that? Or else it's pretty much done there.
No, nothing on that really.
Long Fang, it guts back to Long Fang, and he is arrested by the Earth King because he believes the little 12-year-old kids. Unlike Scooby-Doo, they usually believe other people. If it wasn't for your meddling kids. I was actually kind of hoping that line would pop up. That would be cool. If it wasn't for you meddling kids, I'd be fine. And the Dai Li, like in that moment when the Earth King says like arrest Long Feng, the Dai Li like look at each other and they're like, do we arrest him? But then they eventually do. So they had this like moment of like, what do we do? Because they're loyal to Long Feng, but they have to listen to the Earth King too.
So in this scene where they arrest him, they throw those like handcuffs. Are they metal bending right there?
No.
Toph becomes the first metal bender ever.
Well, I know they say that, but they throw those things out and then they clasp down.
I think it's an engineering thing where they like just lock. Because if think about it as like.
So you don't think it was metal bending?
From their perspective, like...
It looked like metal bending.
Because, so, okay, metal bending doesn't exist yet, right?
Toph invents metal bending.
Are you sure?
100%.
So, yeah, it's established in the... It's canon possible, in this
It's
universe.
possible for two people to have the same idea at the same time, completely separate from each other.
No, I get that. But, like, so the other concept is, if you were a member, or, like, you were arresting somebody, like, a police officer, right? And you are arresting another police officer... The first thing you're going to do is take away their gun, right? So, like, wouldn't you arrest them in a way that, like, they can't fight back?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that Long Feng can metal bend. I'm saying those two officers, they're metal bending. But, yeah, I understand. It could be...
So let's give the ultimate power to some random people.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Cool.
You been watching Community a lot lately?
No.
That's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh.
So, Sokka says, Long Feng is long gone.
Oh, sure, that's funny, but what's popping in pop culture's not.
I
Make
laugh.
me sick.
I laugh.
Yeah,
when you say
fake.
that.
You
mock me.
I was like, you mocked her. You mock laughs. So Sokka pleads.
I feel like Thor right now. In Infinity War when he meets like Star-Lord. Are you mocking me right now?
Ooh. Oh wait, no.
My
when
favorite
he's like,
scene is at the end of.
Are you making your voice deeper?
No, this is how I always talk.
I love the end of Endgame when they're like battling over power of the group. Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, sure.
It's your ship. It's yours.
Sure. So yeah, then I have the Council of Five comes up now.
General Howe.
But the Earth King gives his blessings for support of the Black Day, or the Day of Black Sun.
Support of the Black Day, yeah.
Support of the Black Sun. So,
yeah, that's cool.
Their goal has been achieved.
Yeah.
As far as what they came to Bossing Say for.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's done. But the Dai Li, turns out that Long Feng intercepted some mail from the group.
Yeah.
And so, Aang got his letter from the Guru that was hanging on Appa's horn. And then Toph got a letter.
What happened. Remember I asked what happened to that, and this is what happened to it.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he got the scroll, and okay, here we go.
The writers probably thought of that, like, where did the note go?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta explain that.
But this also
we gotta have a mail scene somewhere.
This also does tie into later when Toph gets her letter from her mom. Quotations there.
Right.
And so everyone kind of...
I love. As soon as Toph's like, oh, I got a letter from my mom, and she completely changed her mind about everything. I'm like, that sounds suspicious.
Yeah, I'm like, weird.
Yeah.
So then immediately after that, Katara and Sokka ask if they have any mail for them, and the Earth King says no, but we do have like this military, like, what do they call it? Military informant message thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And basically said that some southern water tribe people are helping in the fight against the Fire Nation, and it's led by Hakoda, which is Katara and Sokka's
I forgot his name was Hakoda. I'm like, man, that's a cool name.
It is such a cool name. So then it immediately cuts back to Zuko and Iroh, and Iroh tells Zuko that he's going through a metamorphosis.
Pretty butterfly.
And that he will be the prince he was meant to be. And then this is where it pans back to the group, and Katara thinks that everyone should split up and go on their own small separate journeys.
I don't know why when that scene popped up and Katara's like, we should split up, I got like flashbacks from Vegas Vacation where they're like, we should just have a personal day, like where we all split up and do our own things in Vegas, and that just turns out horribly. Like, you gotta have the family together, not separate. Like, go find Toph's mom, then go, like, you can do these things in sequence, you know. But,
well, I don't think they have much time before the Day of Black Sun, though.
Yeah, but he has enough. I don't know. It's just how long is it going to take for you to go talk to your mom for a second? Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
So then Katara gives up seeing her dad well, I guess their dad, for Sokka, because he knows how much it means to him more. Because in that moment, you can see Sokka like kind of tearing up, like, thank you for like letting me go see him.
And this scene kind of did bug me though, and later on when we get to the ratings, I'll tell you why. But he doesn't. He tears up, and then he's like, "You're the greatest sister ever." He's so happy, but like his voice doesn't really have much in it. And I'm like, man, I don't really believe this performance right now. But.
So then Katara kisses Aang goodbye, and his cheeks turn red.
Classic anime move.
Yep.
Yeah. And the gang all hug and say goodbye, and then some Kyoshi warriors show up at Ba Sing Se. And then Sokka's like, "Oh, that's Suki. Like, oh, you can trust them. Like, they're the most trustworthy like people in the world. Like, don't worry about them.
They're very honorable warriors.
Yeah.
And very trustworthy."
So okay, I got the blessing from the Avatar. I guess I can trust him with my personal safety. Right?
Then it immediately cuts to Zuko again, and he's like washing his face with the rag or whatever. And then he wakes up, and he sees himself in the mirror, and it's like Avatar Zuko.
Dude, I wrote that down too.
So I know it was supposed to be freaky, but it was just weird seeing Aang's face like elongated and like on a taller body. I was like, huh.
It did look weird. But then it's sad because he wakes up and he touches his scar. And it's like,
Sokka, it cuts back to Sokka, and he's like, when we get back, we got girls waiting for us. And Aang is like, yeah, we have girls waiting for us. So then it cuts to the scene with Long Feng in prison, and the Dai Li soldiers.
You keep going. Yeah.
Oh, what do you have?
Well, just how, maybe it's a little bit later, but Zuko, or Sokka is like, everything's perfect. Nothing's ever going to go wrong, ever again. And then all this other stuff happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Long Feng's in the prison, and the Dai Li give him his plate of food or whatever, and tell him that they remain loyal to Long Feng. But, you know, the military people, the soldiers, remain loyal to the Earth King. Mm-hmm. So, obviously Long Feng won't be in prison for too long.
No.
Right. What?
Because his name Long Feng. He won't be in for too long.
Toph goes to meet her mom, and then gets captured in a metal cage by the people from back home, which I keep forgetting their names.
Jin Fu and Master Yu.
Good job.
And
I was looking up cast stuff for this episode.
Then we get the creepy reveal of who the Kyoshi warriors are.
Azula.
Yeah, it totally fooled me for a second until she started
really?
talking. Again, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I didn't remember.
Yeah, we keep
so I didn't notice it until
just
she
seeing
talked, like, whoa, I forgot about this.
Just seeing like the face though, like with May's like hairstyle.
Yeah,
I was like,
I wasn't really paying that much attention because in my head I'm like, oh, the Kyoshi warriors are here because they were around.
Yeah,
I just thought it was good cinematography to like pan across her face. So you could tell it was Azula as she was talking.
Yeah, right.
For
we
sure.
are the humble servants of the Earth King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all it was. That the end of the episode ended right after that. So.
Yeah. For bending numbers on this one, holy crap! So.
1 second, real quick, because it's super easy. Only creature in the entire episode besides Appa and Momo, Bosco.
Oh, the bear.
The real normal bear.
The normal bear. I put creatures question mark because I didn't even remember any. But
Bosco.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, you're the Avatar, and like Bosco like sniffs up. Bosco seems to like him, so.
Yeah. He just trusts his bear so much. Okay, so for bending numbers, there was for water there was 16 instances of water that we saw on screen. There was 0 of fire, and there was 7 of air. And drumroll, please, the all-time record.
Hold on. So we should. I didn't see the numbers yet. Did you see the numbers?
The all-time record for any bending. This is the highest bending so far.
I'm gonna guess.
We've seen.
So you said it's well over 100.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like 143.
Okay, Dustin.
I'm gonna have to go do Price is Right numbers here. So
1.
I'll do 130. Just like a little
132.
Dang it!
Good job.
Really?
That was pretty good.
Are you kidding me?
was like, I better be lower than Sherman just to be safe. Because it can't be more than like 100.
Well, he said well over it, but I'm like, it can't be like 150.
See, his words don't match his.
I should share this somehow on our YouTube channel, but so far this is my bending graph of all the bending. So this is per episode, and this is overall. So this episode made earthbending the highest bending so far.
Just wait till next season.
Yeah, I know.
Fire's gonna go.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Fire's gonna
That's all we're gonna see. Yeah. So hopefully Earth has quite a few more bending episodes like this to.
Right.
I think it just all this episode did was just get the average up for the whole series.
It did, yeah. Yeah.
Which, to be honest...
But the previous record was 144 of firebending. And then now it's 132, so this might be the highest. So
comparatively, though, in Korra, waterbending, I think mainly because like she's part of the water tribe, you see way more waterbending in that series. Throughout the series.
I mean, Korra does rely on her firebending more, though, too.
As aggressive, but like she uses waterbending and like, I mean...
as a convenience?
First two seasons, her main villain is a waterbender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unalak and Amon.
Because like when he like
Flash Tarlock or whatever,
right? Like when he like lands in the water and like does that like
a whirlwind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, and he uses water bending to literally take people's bending.
Yeah, blood bending. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, blood bending. That's crazy.
All right, so let's rate this episode. Or did you have anything for the cast or anything like that?
So the Earth King, I love. So he's voiced by Phil Lamar, which
thank you. That's why it sounds so familiar.
So it's weird because like I think out of every voice actor in this series, I think he has the most like voice acting things under his belt.
Oh wow, really?
His filmography on IMDb, 477.
Holy crap! And is it all voice acting?
Almost,
mostly?
Yeah.
Like 90% of it.
Because like
this is the first time we hear the Earth King speak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've seen Pulp Fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to put a face to him, Phil Lamar is the black guy in the opening scene, like who gets like shot early on.
Okay.
When he's like, "Say what? Say what again? I dare you!"
Oh, okay.
Like,
What?
But voice acting wise, for pop culture stuff, he has done a ton. So like, simple one, Hermes Conrad in Futurama.
Oh, okay.
He did Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern in Justice League Animated Show.
Okay.
And he does the voice of Samurai Jack in Samurai Jack.
Whoa.
Static
Static
Shock.
Shock.
Okay.
He's Ollie Williams in Family Guy, the weather guy who just blurts out random things.
Really? Okay.
And like his voice acting, like it goes way, way back.
Yeah. Probably just
Like,
complete random roles all over the place.
Well, he started off as like regular like acting.
Oh, okay.
Because like his first role was one episode of Mr. T.
Okay. I didn't know he had his own show.
No, he played
Mr. T had his own show.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But yeah, he's done a ton of different stuff. Family Guy.
Did you know he's an Aquarius?
Like his zodiac sign?
Just said it on IMDb.
Invader Zim.
Okay. Well. Cool.
Well.
Yeah. There wasn't really any wise sayings or anything. Just need to sweat this out. That was about the wisest thing.
Sweat it out, boy. You're going through a metamorphosis.
Oh, sorry.
No.
For the Star Wars tie-in, Phil Lamar does do some voice acting in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic as War Leader Garn, Lore Master Jarshi, Hudro, Gadon Thek.
Interesting.
I was like finding Star Wars tie-ins.
He's done
like voice acting.
He's done a bunch of video game stuff too.
Oh, he's done a ton.
Okay, let's rate this thing. The plot and the story. What would you rate the story arc? Wasn't really.
I would do average.
There's just a big fight scene and then convincing Earth King.
Right. I'll do a 7.
7. Okay.
Wasn't super special. But...
Give everything a 5. Throw the curve.
Throw the curve.
The execution. So pacing, vision. Was it entertaining?
I mean, it was entertaining. The fight scenes were entertaining, and
That probably brings up the average for me on this.
Yeah. That first...
I'll do a 9 on there.
9, okay.
That opening scene was just amazing.
Yeah. That was like the coolest bending we've seen. Well, one of the coolest bending we've seen so far. Just the big fight scene.
Right.
It was just cool to see the background villains too, like the people who took Toph, Azula, and them, and the Dai Li.
Yeah.
All hinting at like kind of returns coming back in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
The writing, characters, plausibility, originality.
I'll give that a solid 10.
10 on this episode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is there?
Just because of, again, what I was just saying, everyone's kind of got their own path going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know.
Just kind of introduces a lot of stuff and brings it all in. Yeah.
Well, it's introducing Toph and metal bending. It's introducing, like, Azula and them taking over Bossing City.
Or it's setting it up for it,
yeah.
Right. And it's introducing, what else was the third one I said?
I don't know.
Anyways, I'll give it a 10.
Okay, so for me, the performance, the delivery, effective, emotional, plausible, I gave it a 6 because it was just average to me. But then there's little things in it that bugged me, like Sokka, like tearing up.
So wrong with that?
He wasn't. He didn't sell it
tears
at
of
all.
joy.
He didn't sell it at all. He wasn't overly joyful. He wasn't overly sad. It just, I don't know. If I had my eyes closed, I would just think he was just being silly. I wouldn't think he was emotional in that moment. So it just kind of bugged me.
Sokka's not meant to be a super serious type of dude, though.
I know, but he's crying. It's the first time. I think the first time we ever see him cry.
You read way too much into that.
Yeah. Then the action, the blocking, stunts, and the environment. I gave it a 9. Almost a 10. It was kind of in the middle for me, but I did 9 because the rest of the episode after that first awesome fight scene was just kind of normal. So, I don't know, left that as 9. And then the believability, the character development and presence and all that stuff, it was just average, so I gave it a 7. So, nothing too crazy on that. Sherman, the sounds?
Once again, this show like is so hard for like scoring anything lower than a 9 or 10 for the sound because like they literally put everything spot on for like music. So once again, I'm gonna go with a 10 for sound.
A 10 for sound,
dude.
Okay.
So every time Long Fang even like shows up on the screen, like things get a little like the notes get a little creepy, and I'm like, all right, well, that works.
Yeah.
And like sound effects, they're usually spot on for like, any bending or I guess Foley artists. I guess.
Yeah. The visuals. Framing,
visuals.
Editing.
Originally, I wanted to give this one an 8, but I gave it a 9 for the fact that they actually like had Toph like defensively bending.
Like, yes, you're using real physics,
right?
Or real whatever. She can't see.
Well, because I thought it was weird, and I wanted to go with an 8 originally because like when later on when like they're at Lake Laogai, like Toph has the whole seismic sense thing, so like
you think she would know that it's gone?
Yeah, she would know that the tunnel is like destroyed.
Yeah,
considering she knew it was there in the first place when they showed up.
It's weird that it comes up like she's an earth that she had to earth bend it up in the first place. It's weird that it's gone. Just I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah. But yeah, with like the more attention to detail during like that early fight scene, I was like, I'll give it a 9.
Do you think she just knew it was gone and just had to bring it up to show the Earth King proof?
Maybe, but
and then just announce it like, oh, it's gone. Like she knew, but then she was just showing everyone.
But my other issue is like when they escaped that like underground facility, they made like a separate tunnel to like get out. So why couldn't she bring that one up too?
Yeah, I don't know. They must have completely just erased that they had a secret layer there at all.
Yeah, the Dai Li probably just covered everything up with the rock.
Yeah. The effects, sets, props, and visual effects.
Because of like, I gave it a 9 because like this one was the early fight scene, and then like getting like a recap of like everything throughout like this whole Bossing Say like 5-6 episode like or whatever like was kind of cool, like getting a recap of like everywhere they've been. And then like the effects or like seeing how Zuko's like dream state went, I thought was really cool.
Visually, yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. Okay, Dustin, what would you overall rate this episode?
guess an 8.
8. That's fair. So that gives us 8.4 is what we rated this one.
IMDb?
8.6.
There we go.
Right in there. So I think that's all we got. Dustin, take us out of here.
Alrighty, thanks guys for watching this episode of Phantom Nights on our coverage of Avatar, Chepisode, whatever we just talked about. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our podcast on Apple and Spotify. And please join us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, thank you guys for watching. And Appa.
Yep. I always forget we do that. I don't know why.